Police misconduct is costing Dallas taxpayers millions.
We know that because the I-Team found in the last 5 years the city has paid more than $10 million just to settle lawsuits filed against Dallas police officers. Investigative reporter Brian New discovered that the city could also be spending millions more relatively soon. Brian?
Yeah, and Doug, that's because the city of Dallas currently has 38 unresolved liability claims against Dallas police officers, including one that the city has already spent nearly $500,000 to fight. The police dashcam video from 2013 shows just part of the story. 2 Dallas police officers are in pursuit of a reported stolen vehicle when the driver jumps out and runs away. That's Senior Corporal Amy Wilburn. She then rushes up to the moving vehicle, now frees the video. Who you can't see from this vantage point,
I remember everything,
is this man, Kelvion Walker. At the time, he was 19 years old. He's sitting here in the passenger seat of the car, still in a seatbelt, unarmed, and according to an independent witness, Walker had both of his hands up.
That's the first thing I did, and as I'm watching her the whole time, like, she could see me through the glass. It just happened that fast where she just opened the door, and I'm just like in shock for a couple of seconds. Then I'm just like, what you shoot me for? As soon as I look down and I see smoke coming out of my body.
You can hear Walker screaming in pain on the video. An internal affairs investigation determined Wilburn violated the department's deadly force policy. She was fired. The former officer is set to go to trial on a criminal assault charge in January. As for Walker, by the time he arrived at the hospital, according to his medical records, he did not have a pulse. Walker underwent 3 major operations to save his life. Doctors say he will have back and leg pain, along with medical complications the rest of his life, including this.
The bullet is actually still in me.
For now, it's too risky to remove. Walker has sued for damages and for nearly 4 years has been waiting.
How much money has the city given you?
The city hasn't given me anything.
But the I-Team discovered while Walker hasn't received any money from the city has paid a private law firm so far more than $500,000 to defend the fired officer in her civil case. According to city records, this is more money than the city spent to settle all 7 police misconduct claims from 2006 to 2011. Now compare it to the past 5 years, where the city spent $10.8 million to settle 23 cases against police officers. Civil rights lawyer Jeff Henley says this doesn't necessarily mean officers are now behaving worse.
I don't think that there's necessarily been an increase in the violent propensity or the unlawful propensity of certain police officers. I think we just have better means of documenting those abuses now.
In other words, now there's video. In 2014, the city paid a $1.1 million settlement to Ronald Jones after this dashcam video showed an officer beating Jones and wrestling him to the ground. Jones was jailed on a charge of assaulting a police officer. The charge was dropped when this video came to light, contradicting the officer's account. Then last year, the city paid out a record $1.6 million to Bobby Bennett for what was captured on his neighbor's home security camera. Bennett's mother called police to help with her mentally ill son, but seconds after arriving, officers shot Bennett 4 times from 20 feet away. Bennett had a small knife in his hand. As for Walker's case,
they have absolutely taken every chance they can to delay this matter.
The city has already spent a record amount on legal fees for a single officer misconduct case. More legal fees are likely. The civil trial is at least another 6 months away.
Do you think they owe you something, though?
Oh, yeah.
Walker and his attorney are seeking a $10 million settlement. Now, this increase in the cost to settle these claims is not unique to Dallas. Several large cities across the country have also reported paying more in recent years to settle police misconduct cases. But here in North Texas, that's not the case everywhere. The city of Arlington in the past 5 years paid out $1.9 million to settle police excessive force claims, while records provided by the city of Fort Worth show Fort Worth paid out just $12,000 in law enforcement liability claims. Fort Worth, however, would not tell us how many of its cases have not been settled.
So the peg of the whole thing really focuses a lot on Dallas. So back to Dallas for a second. $10.8 million, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money even for $1 billion budget in Dallas. Where's the money come from when they got to pay?
So every year, the city takes money from its general fund and puts it into a liability reserve fund in anticipation of some of these claims. Now, if they didn't have to put it into this liability reserve fund, that money could be used for roads, it could be used for more officers, really anything.
Yeah. All right, Brian New, interesting look inside. It's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you very much.